So we usually wonder or ask the question, where is God in all of this, right? So let's unpack it a little. God can't exactly come down every 5 minutes and save the day. That question is a bit up there in the clouds. The question should be in here: where are you? Where are we as humanity? Think of a person that you might know, or picture this person that goes through life just like this, as if there's no pulse. The person does the minimum, what they need to do, pay the taxes, do everything right, and so on, and steers clear from the dark. So we'll call the A team, Team God, Team Light; B team, Team Devil, Team Dark, just to make things easier. So this person just goes through life and doesn't do much internal work. Maybe had one experience and that experience was okay for them, and they just, wake up every day, do what they have to do, and life goes on, and they like in this little box, and that's their life. It's like no pulse, and they go through life and they never really get to meet themselves, right? So keep that little box of that person at the end, maybe. And so we all know we are monitored, we track. Anything you say can and will be held in court against you. But we know they promote freedom of speech, but on the apps, when you want to post something and it's out of alignment with their little with their little lines that you can only talk about this, you can only say that, you can't say this, otherwise you get flagged. That's also why I post everything, the full video rather, on YouTube, because the other apps they flag it up. And so let's unpack where main man is, right? Look, as a child, when you grow up, or just picture a baby and you tell a baby, don't go there, right? Because it's still in its learning phase and everything, it still goes there. And then when it touches the hot stove and burns, then they know, okay, don't touch the stove, right? And it's gonna be a whirlwind, but I'm gonna align it at the end. So they obviously collect data on us. We know this, right? Now this data collecting, studying of people to get the control in order, to have all the strings attached to the puppets, and all the puppets is blackmailed in, or something in, or it's a family, whatever, or connection. All the puppets is in, right? And we've noticed in the past couple of weeks, I don't read the news, but when I'm scrolling for memes, then the headlines pop up of stuff, and the headline I read and I carry on with my life. So the other thing too is, when you do something, it takes of your energy. When you watch something, it takes of your energy. I was changing the channel here the other day, and it landed on the news channel, and Uncle T was talking. And then I never had much to do, as I'm retired, and I watched for 5 minutes, and I realized, like, I went in a daze, and I understand that why that happens. I get it, what's behind the puppet, the strings and whatever else. But when you watch what they have to say, you give them your energy. Just imagine, nobody goes to vote. What they're going to do, they're going to lose their mind because they feel like they're losing control. Nobody goes to the parades that they have to stand on the stage and talk to people. If nobody goes to that, you actually take their power away, because what they want is your energy, your emotions, and you feed it to them when you interact. It's like when you're done with a person, when you know, like for example, whatever example, you know what I'm referring to, when you're finished with a person and it's done, and you're never going to speak to them again in your life, and you're moving on, the door is closed. But when you leave the door open a little, it gives this space for them to come back in, right? So as long as we entertain and watch the crap that they talk about, I mean, you're telling me it takes to make a decision this long? We can all make instant decisions, and they're supposed to be with their degrees and fees, and they got fleas actually, and they can't make a decision quickly, and all of a sudden the news releases is coming, like, where did this Russia and Ukraine thing resurface itself out of nowhere? Nothing was happening, but it's all part of the distractions. That's why I say it's all games. Now let's unpack all of this, right? From back in the day, right, there was, let's say, this World War I. There was no technology. When something happens, you get a newspaper, however you got it back in the day. It takes a whole week, it takes 2 weeks, 3 weeks, right? So let's say God didn't intervene, right? Because World War I happened here, the energy is here. By the time the energy and the news gets to the other people, those people's on a different energy already. They get the news, they shook by the news, experiencing what these people experienced a week ago. Right? Now, if you want both to experience at the same time, which we are experiencing today with social media, everybody gets the news same time. If you are on the platforms, the news can go same time. Right? So just, it's gonna go like that, but I'm gonna get back to you very in the end. Then there was World War II, but okay, all of this same explanation. The puppet strings have been studying people has come on from, I don't even know what date to go to, because we all heard of the stories and blah blah blah, right? So we know they control the media. Now, I was thinking yesterday, they say that Hitler left one of them behind so that the rest of the world can know. Now, I just want to think quickly, right? If I am ordering killing of masses, that's a ton of anger, right? And I'm killing also myself, right? And I've won that time, won whatever was going on back then. I win. Do you think, and again, the capacity to win a war or win a whatever, it takes planning, strategy, right? You need to be sharp, you need to be clever. You're telling me that people didn't think that if they leave one they're going to recreate and recreate and recreate and recreate, and then the same problem happens. Then again, you're telling me you're gonna leave one to repeat the same cycle? Again, their media, their history, their crap. I would say that the string people, obviously they setting all this wars out and everything. It's for control, keep everybody in alignment. Everybody must be scared, and even with all this, I mentioned in one of the videos that if they have the scriptures, they can play with the words, they can play with whatever is said in there, and they can create. The one that I said we don't believe is the one that they creating the natural disasters. You never hear a natural disaster hitting any of the president's homes. You're telling me God is going to miss if that's him sending natural disasters? You're telling me none of the puppets that's causing chaos in the world, their homes get hit, their places get hit? Like, God doesn't miss. God doesn't make mistakes, right? So, they did all the studies back in the day. They had enough time to practice, and everything gets passed on in families, as we know. And, well, not everything. Some families hold things from other family members. And, so anyway, so all of this and their history that they created. The other thing also with racism, while we acted, this is also how they classify us. You're this color, you're that nationality, you're that race, you're this, you're that. So, if a spirit comes from God, what color is the spirit? There's no color. It's a man-made thing. Racism, I said, when I hear the word racism, I hear race. Created by a sir. Well, I wouldn't call him a sir, but it's just in the word. But, you know, and they have all the metrics in place. I said AI was created yonks ago. It's only being released now, and it's all the tracking, the control, which we know, which we understand, right? Now, the question we tend to think about is, where is, you know, when's he gonna step in or intervene or whatever. Like, you have to understand, when we go through dark in our own life, if you ever hit rock bottom, or whatever your rock bottom is, everybody's got different rock bottoms. Some people don't need to hit the rock bottom, just an experience is enough, or, you know. But when, as I've mentioned, that the earth is sitting its rock bottom, right? Now, I've mentioned that rock bottom is my friend. There's a Rocky Balboa down there, and and when you hit the rock bottom, you can't go lower than that. You can only die there, or you shoot up, right? Now, you see, because when I explained of the energy like this, right? No social media, technology, World War I, all the times before social media, right? Now, the global energy it can be affected instantly, right? Now, his timing, I can't even, the word perfect and magnificent for his timing up, it's not enough for me to even this. I can't, it's perfect, but magnificently perfect is just, it's not even, it doesn't do justice to the wording of everything on God's time, right? Now, as I'm seeing it going, the dark has become very arrogant and very ignorant, right? And we see all who's playing their hands and who's on whose side. I mentioned in the very start of I don't know which video, very in the early videos, that Egypt was bought, right? When the people went to go march to Gaza and Egypt blocked him from coming through. And I mentioned that Egypt was paid off to stop him from going, right? Then they never got through, and couple of weeks, 3 weeks later or something, there was a news release. Egypt signed the biggest, I think it was gas deal in history of something 3.8 billion until 2040, right? So that gas deal came 3 weeks after they stopped the people from marching, right? So that tells you Egypt is aligned with Israel. Then today, which is, I don't know what date it is, I don't know, never know which date and time it is, which I like. Then Egypt say they ready to stand with their army for Gaza and whatever. And I'm like, you know, the people must now believe this crap. You block the people from going there, and then you did a gas deal with the enemy. So to say, I'm just saying enemy for now. And then like a week later, you saying you're ready to stand against the enemy which you just made a deal with, right? So all of this is playing out, and the dark is just playing their cards and thinking they're going down the right way. And I know when you're playing in the dark and it gets fun, there's a smack about to come in your face, because if God, that's the other thing, there's no equal to God which we know. The devil knows our thoughts because it must whisper. That's the devil's job. So Simon said he's going to do it, doing a great job, right? Misleading. And also with the puppet strings, it's also double, you know, it helps the process, because the world is run by devils at the moment. And then the other thing is, the devil is not equal to God, ever. That is the A team, that is the B team. We can maybe call him the Z team if he was off the alphabet, Z, whatever. Now, the other thing to always remember and think about, any information we acquire in this life here is sand granule. You know, when you go to the beach, there's sand and a granule. Granule, 1 granule, right? That's the amount of knowledge we can gain or whatever. And God is the entire ocean across the planet, and we can just maintain this sand granule, right? So if that's all we can obtain, right, we just got to do it. We just got to stay in our lane, work on ourselves, heal on ourselves. But the other thing is, if God knows everything, which not if, he does, and he released a book, right? The scriptures, call it what you want, go. And that book has got lots of information in it, right? Now, you telling me that one book has got all his knowledge, everything it is in that one book. He knows everything that will happen. He released one book, and look at what the world has become just with that little knowledge of his. Just with that little knowledge. Now why I say this, the big team is arrogant and think they have everything that they want, is because They think that book is, that is it. Not realizing that is enough information for us to make it, and also enough information for us to play with. And now that the world is connected and can be connected instantly, you know, also by the time back to World War I, if they release that information, that energy, to get here in 7 days, someone here by day 3 can intercept it and change it. And then the wrong information gets here. So that's just one thing to keep in mind. And the other thing is back to the lady in the box. If we continue living into the categories that they have put us in, right? Color, nationality, age. Well, okay, age, we must know everybody's age, right? And all those categories, we've all been studied. They know how to deal with people, they know how to trigger people, they know the metrics is just working brilliantly, right? And the only thing that I can say is something is coming, because the world is sitting as rock bottom, and something is going to shift, because we are tired of staying here as a world, and life is just getting better for the people on the top. If we take, it's like the cost of living is mad, right? Struggling, just making it. And you know, back in the day, it's just life was better, right? Now, if you can imagine with me quickly, what would the world be like without the puppets, without governments deciding what should be what and how should be how and where should be where, and them deciding? Aren't we, and they must decide for their country, one person, or the little small 10 people must decide for 10 million people. Shouldn't 10 million people have a say for their own country, what they want? Why? And when you think about what's going on with the wars, it's not the people, it's the puppets. And again I say, shouldn't the puppets go stand on the shooting range and fire at each other and they die? They just say, go shoot there, go bomb there, and then they come back on stage, oh, we're doing this is a ceasefire now, and a like, just, you know, crap. Like, but it's just, it's only a matter of time. That's it, sorry. So, why he hasn't intervened yet, however, is because we all under control, and we all have puppet strings, and we all have seen we're giving people power. What happens to the world? Nobody should have power to decide for other people. And just, this is the rules, you will follow this because I say so, because I think so. It is not nice to be controlled. All experience control in some way or another, besides the system alone. I'm not talking just of the system that's happening. All experience control, we don't like it. Imagine that there's no control, well, some control, but no governments. Imagine what that would be like. No governments. You can travel where you want to, you can go where you want to, you can do what you want to, you can work 3 days a week and 4-day weekend. I would really like that for the world, maybe even 2, because I say, I've said that when you try to, when you do healing, sometimes killing whatever is doing the opposite. I've mentioned when you numb yourself, you've got to stop numbing yourself. If you don't feel, you've got to start feeling along on the healing journey. just imagine that there is no puppets involved and you can just build and no taxes. I mean, we struggle to live and this people is making billions of dollars deals. Like should rather that billions go to helping the people? I mean, we are struggling. And you say you're trying to make it a better place for you and for me and the entire universe. That's crap. We want to sing, we singing that. They're not singing that. They're singing that for themselves, in their pockets. And the lesson in all of this, over all of this time, is very significant. People should not be in control of other people and countries. The entire nation should decide together what they want, what they think is better. Not having people here and here and here and painting a picture and like this and like that. And then if there's none of that, if there's no governments, then guess what? They can't fight with other countries because it's only the puppets that are fighting with each other, but the innocents are dying.